to talk to you about getting ready for the coming year and not waiting to the last minute to getting your life in alignment with your life's assignment. We are ending out the month of September, and wow, we're getting ready to wrap this year up very quickly, and you want to be prepared. What have you been toiling with all year long? And really, really need to gain focus and make sure that you finish the year strong. Taking center stage and owning it with me on It's Your Life, Own It. I'm going to bring out first our September cover girl, since she is in the house, which is going to be a really, real treat to have her out here with me for just a couple of minutes before we bring on the rest of the team. Hey, Tiffany.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good, good. Since you are in the house and we are getting ready to close out the month of September, I just wanted to do a quick spotlight with you and talk about where you are right now. This is September. Can you believe it? And it's the last day of September. This is crazy how this month went by so fast.
It flew by. It absolutely flew by for sure. But it has been amazing. I mean, there's just so much going on, and when you're trying to close out the year, I mean, in HR, I was HR management for so long, you're looking into open enrollment, things like that. And as a health coach and as, editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, we're really trying to close out that year strong. We're going to talk about it, in the segment, but let's get the things that we know we need to get done so we can start the year strong. So I'm just excited to be the cover girl of September and to just be celebrated in that way. I'm very humble. So, to see myself on that, it's just amazing. So I want to just thank you so much, Marissa, for that as well.
Absolutely. You got to celebrate our people that are in house. And we really, really beautiful cover. We dropped it today. So anybody, you can go to my Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure Tiffany is going to share it on her page, but you can go to my Facebook page and you can see the full cover and also the full issue of the magazine. You just got to click on the green envelope and go right in and click on all those pages and see the spread. Tiffany has a lot of projects going on. She's a part of many multiple organizations and platforms that will help you to stay fit and get focused. And so thank you so very much. It was an honor having you on the Own It cover for September. And we're going to bring out your fellow contributing writers for Own It magazine. Taking center stage and owning it is Teresa Palmer.
Hey, Teresa.
Hello, everyone.
We have a new contributing writer that's in the house, Pastor Derain Irvin. We have Sabine. We have Sabine coming in from the Dominican Republic. She is all things international real estate, construction, and all that other good stuff. And then we also have in the house with us Jeffrey Berger. He has just received his honorary doctorate. We are so excited about that. What a accomplishment. And then we have coming in with us, we have BJ, and she is coming with us, and she is coming from all the way from Africa and Kenya. And so we are excited. We have a full house this morning. Yes. And so with the full house comes technology challenges. And so we want to make sure that we go a little slow this morning, allow folks to really communicate their responses. And so while one is speaking, let's just put ourselves on mute and let the other one speak. And hopefully that'll take care of any technology issues or concerns that we may have. And so we're talking about one, we want to say thank you for Tiffany. She's our September cover girl. I dropped the issue again today so that everyone gets a chance to see it before we close out this month. She's beautiful on that cover, and she has very, very thoughtful insight and how she owns it on a regular basis to encourage you. And so we're talking about it. We're this September, but we don't have too long before this year ends. And, all too often at the start of the year, January, we talk about resolutions and all this other good stuff. And we're talking about mental health. It's so much. Teresa always talks about there's chaos in the world, and so how do we harness all of this so that we stay focused, do the things that Teresa talked about backstage, being in a place that you love to be in, that you feel good about being in, and you find fulfillment. It's your life. Own it is all about that, owning your life and making the necessary decisions followed by the necessary behavioral changes and mindset changes that are required for us to succeed in this life and live a joyful, fulfilling, loving life. How do we maintain focus? It's September. We're coming back out of the vacation mindset. Now it's time to buckle down, celebrate the end of the year, but also be strategic and intentional. I'm going to start with our cover girl. What are some of the things that you're doing? I know you have a major project that you have going on with men and women. How do you start projects and finish them?
It can be tough, but you really just get yourself on a schedule. I mean, that's with anything, right? I mean, I have myself on a workout schedule. That's the way I was able to release over 120 pounds, because I stayed on that schedule. So you really just get yourself that schedule, write it down. It is so important to write it down, and just make sure that you also have accountability around you. I mean, you cannot do anything without having someone else to, be able to have that partner to hold you accountable. In Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, we've got a lot of accountability partners through our contributing writers. And that's the same thing here on the Own It platform. I reach out to many of you as my accountability, to make sure that I let you know, hey, this is what I'm working on, so you can check in with me and let me know, hey, how you doing with that? That keeps me on point. That keeps me going, because I'm not only doing it, for me. Yeah, I'm doing it for myself. But when you have somebody else that you're reporting to, when I have my clients coming to me because they said, hey, I want to lose, 5 pounds in, the next 2 weeks, and I give them what they need to do, and I check in with them and they haven't hit that mark, how does that feel? Right? So when I have my accountability partners, they come to me, I want to make sure that I can say, hey, you know what? I got that done. And now I'm moving on to the next. And that's how you just chip away at it. You don't give yourself so much. It's bite-sized chunks. And that's really what has kept me on point with getting these projects done and starting another one, right? And really just handpicking the people as well. I was HR for many, many years, so I do my research on the people that I work with, because I want to make sure that things go very smoothly as we go through the process. So I am I call myself that social media stalker. It is by trade. But that's really how I'm able to surround myself with the people to get things done as well. So let's get into how we really get going into this next year. How do we get ourselves in alignment to get into starting 2025 right? Well, right now, you should be making your appointments for your doctors. You should be knowing those numbers. You should be getting that blood work done. Women, you should be getting those mammograms done. You should be getting those pap smears done. Men, you should be getting those colonoscopies done. All those things that we need to do annually that we tend to forget because we're using the excuse of life be lifing. I hear that all the time now. And no, you are first and foremost, and our health is number one priority. So to start the year out right, you want to make sure that you're getting those things done. Get into the doctor. Start making those calls today and get in and know exactly what's going on with you. That's going to keep you ahead of the game. So that's what I do. That is what I'm doing. Actually, today I have 2 appointments that I'm going to. And I hate having to go and get in uncomfortable situations as a female when we get our checkups done. But guess what? So far, so good, right? Every single time I get that, your numbers are on point. I have to celebrate. So that's how I get myself ready for the year, and also just making sure that I have my goals written down for the year as well. So that's all I got.
And that's a lot. You because our health is our wealth, right? At the end of the day, we're not healthy, we're not wealthy because we can't show up in any areas. I love it. So you said schedule, you said accountability, so that you maintain focus, motivation, and emotional balance, right? You said,
Right.
I love it, smart goals. But your smart goals have to be one of the letters in the smart goals is R, which just says realistic, bite-sized goals so that you can ensure achievement. That keeps your momentum going. When you achieve a goal, it gets you so excited. I know, Dr. Berger, you're going to share with us, that excitement you got on that stage and you achieved your honorary doctorate's degree. Such a motivation. So, life be lifing is an excuse. It's a deflect from responsibility and accountability. Life be lifing all over the place, but it still means you still have to show up. You have to be
Right.
serious about what it is that you want to achieve, and you have to be focused and driven and committed. And so, schedule, accountability, realistic, life be lifing, but you got to get it done. And so I'm going to move over to Pastor Durain and let her, share in on her view. Then we'll do Sabine. We'll do Brandy, Dr. Berger, and Teresa. So Pastor Durain, you're up.
Pastor,
Come
you're
off
on
mute.
mute.
You're muted.
I apologize. I'm glad I'm not at work. We used to charge people at work if they start talking and they were on mute. So thank goodness I'm not at work. But I thank God to be here this morning. Good morning. Good morning again. What a wonderful topic, aligning ourselves, because oftentimes we do wait till the end of the year. Sometimes we don't start till January to get focused. But if you can see to my right side, I got my calendar up. I put it up last week, and most of the things on there deal with owning. And I was so excited to try to get everything on so I can be on top of my appointments, trying to get everything for the church on there and making sure that first and foremost, I'm doing what I need to do with the house of God, because that is first and foremost. For me, 2024 was a rough year. 2023, 2024 beginning was a rough year. I lost my brother, my mother, my best friend. But you know what? God said, I still have need of you. So what you going to do? You going to sit in the house and cry, or you going to get busy doing what I've called you to do? And I decided to get busy doing what God had called me to do and celebrating those lives, because I know I'm going to see them again. So one thing that I got back to doing, I had started working on my doctorate, but with that coming, honestly, being transparent, I had no desire whatsoever. But sometimes, I talk to myself. I say, Diva, get it together, girl. You can work this thing. So I reconnected with the seminary. I actually changed my major. I'm excited about this. I'm working on my doctorate in biblical exposition, because somewhere there's a disconnect with our children and our youth, and we are losing them once they get to high school and college. So when I'm talking to God, this is how I talk to God, and this is how he talked back to me. Well, if you think it's a problem, solve it. So my goal is to write a children's ministry curriculum so that we ensure that we are keeping those young people. So organizing my classes, organizing the church, organizing the writing. That's why I put up my 4-month calendar, to make sure that I can clearly see. I believe in writing the vision and making it plain. I'm old school. I know we have everything on the computer, and I love that. But first I write it in my manual calendar book. Then I transfer it to my wall so I can keep up with everything. I was a former educator. Some of you know I just retired June 28th after 41 years. So when I look at my SMART goals, I'm looking at specific, measurable, attainable, research, and time bound. So for me, I try to make sure my goals are specific. I go for those quick wins because I get excited. I'm just like you, Tiffany. When I get a quick win, I'm excited and I celebrate it. So then I want to make sure that it's attainable. In the past, I've set goals that were so far out, and the discourage came because it took you so long to get there. So with my degree, I'm not looking at, all right, when are you going to graduate? I'm looking at, you got this first class. Give yourself, you're going to have this much time to get your work done. And every time I complete something, there's another chapter. Hallelujah. I celebrate. Even if I just celebrate myself and go to the closet and get me a little fruit snack, it's a celebration. But then it's time bound. Make sure that you are giving yourself enough time to achieve those goals. It's wonderful to write the plan, and we have all these wonderful SMART goals and how we're going to measure them. But if you don't put a time on it, oftentimes they get lost in the sauce. So one of the things that I've encouraged the women to do that I minister with is set those quick goals that you can get to and celebrate not only you, but celebrate with God for him giving you the opportunity to bring them through. Y'all, I can tell you, I don't know why God had me up at 3:30 this morning. So I was up at 3:30. I do what I call a spiritual workout. I was doing homework. I got on 2 separate prayer lines this morning. After my spiritual workout, I went to the gym, did my physical workout, because if we don't have this body in shape, God says, present yourself holy and acceptable as a living sacrifice. You got to get your body in shape, or we can't be any good to anybody because we'll be at home. So, Sister Tiffany, I can relate to you, and I appreciate you so much. But I just thank God for having a mindset to really that aligns with the word of God, but also aligns with what I want to do for myself. Miss Marissa talks about self-care. So important. Because if I, as the word of God says, love yourself as you love others. If I love and take care of myself, then I'm going to love and take care of other people. If I'm not taking care of myself, I have nothing to give to anybody else. So I'm excited about all that God is doing in my life, and I'm excited what he's doing with my ministry, 3-in-1 Ministries, what we're doing with Own It, and I am owning it, baby, to the fullest level. And I'm excited to be here with each of you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I believe it's Sabine, is it you up? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so while Sabine is muting, Sabine is out of the Dominican Republic, and she is our real estate guru, international guru. She's helping me with building my home. Once I get my land, she's going to be the contracting house that's going to build and structure my home. I know that she is already working with Tiffany and her family with their home in the Dominican Republic. So I just want to make it very clear that before she responds, this is Sabine for the Own It family. She is our real estate and construction expert here in the Dominican Republic. So Sabine, please share with us how you do this. And yes, Pastor Doreen, it is so important for us to celebrate. I think that sometimes when we are high achievers, we automatically go on to the next. We are like, okay, we accomplished this and we go on to the next, acknowledging that it did take a lot of work to accomplish the goals, whether big or small. It did take a lot of work for us to accomplish the goals, and that we should celebrate. We should take a breath, as Teresa would say, and really, really, take in the accomplishments, because if we're not careful, we'll take all those accomplishments for granted. And we want to stay humble and thankful, and be in the present too. So Sabine, share your thoughts on how do you do it? How do you own it?
Hello, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are. It's not always easy. I mean, I am, as you said, I am a developer, I'm a real estate pro, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I have a lot on my plate, and I'm owning it. But if you are in trouble, and this is what I'm doing, I'm I try to have my list of things like, that I have to achieve or I want to achieve private in my own life or in business. And there are things that are, on the long run, and there are things that are like coming up now. And sometimes it's not that easy to just say, oh, you know what, I just take it slow. And sometimes you can't. And sometimes it seems like it's all coming together at the same time and you start struggling. So if that happens, then you take the short moments and just relax, set back for like 5 minutes, do some meditation or just, do some breathing and just, try to just get everything down and focus again is so very important. And exactly what my other women said before, that self-care is the most important. And I think as it isn't always so easy to take that much care of yourself as you need it, take the small moments, and important is also to reflect on the day and try to have every night have a moment and just focus and reflect, what can I celebrate today, what was good, what did I achieve. And it's sometimes it's super small things, but it's things that we achieved that makes you happy, that you can give yourself a pat on the shoulder. So because it's the same, you see, if Christmas, if you look at Christmas, you always go like, oh my God, it's almost Christmas, when they start playing the Christmas songs in the supermarket. And you're like, where has the year been? I mean, we're almost going to the end of the year. So, and this is why, I mean, things happen so fast. And there's times where we have all the technology and so many things on top of us at the same time. So yeah, I think that you need to be organized with your list, and also most important, just celebrate the little things and try to, get out of the stress just for a little moment. It doesn't always have to be the long weekend on the beach. It can be just, a few minutes, and just look at the sky and enjoy, how nice the sky looks. It's so bright and blue, and just, be happy that you are in that moment. And, thank God that for what you have and what you have achieved. And this gives me the strength. I know that I can do everything, and I know that I'm strong, and I have my network of women around me that are also strong, and we help each other. So that makes it happen. It makes it easy. So yeah, that's my secret way to walk through things.
Yes, sure. Just like Tiffany said earlier, the importance of accountability partners. That's your sister network. That's women. I have a tendency to have men in my life too, that are my buddies, my bros, that have my back, etc. The one thing that I have to couple with Pastor Durain is that I'm crazy for Jesus. So my biggest thing that gets me through every moment, especially when the enemy wants to swipe me out, because when you want to achieve goals, to whom much is given, much is required. There becomes pressure, right? Pressure comes in. We have to deal with, the craziness of partnering with people. People can be crazy or they can be normal. And so we have to navigate through all of that. And my biggest thing I'm going to tell you is, I party like a rock star, always having positivity around me, the things that I feed my spirit. We have to watch our gates, right? The gateways and the entryways to your soul, the heart of the matter. And I party like a rock star. If I feel like I'm down, I'm putting on some music, I'm dancing, and I am going to be reminded of what God's promises are to me. Those reminders remind me of who I am and the authority by which I'm walking. They are so empowering, even at your lowest moments. And just like Pastor Durain said earlier, there are points in your year. So you have high points, you have low points, you have mid points. But at the lowest points, I love what David said in the Bible. He said, David and Paul, they both had to encourage themselves. And we have to encourage ourselves. We have to see that if we press through the mess of life, that we can get to God's best on the other side if we don't give up and cave in. And I am so thankful to be surrounded with great people who are like-minded with me in the Own It family, also our extended family, which is the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics, Off the Bench magazine, our Hughes and Associates. Why some magazines are not currently active. We are all still connected, and so we stay in touch. And we support each other. It's so important. So, like you said, Sabine, it's important that you have a network of people who are around you. And when you get ready to pick up the phone and you're like humdrum, right? They're there to say, wow, Marissa, what are you doing today? And you're like, okay, you got to come back to that place of, yeah, today was hard. Today was tough. But I'd say whatever it is that you believe in, I believe in the word of God. I know that the power of God to change and transfer any situation. And so for me, the word always comes back to me. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And so as we continue to press, I always say to you, whatever it is that you believe, you have to be fully persuaded in that belief system. Because if you toy with it, it's not toying with you. Whether you fully understand the system by which you are operating and believing it, whether you fully understand it or not, if it is real and it exists, it does not care whether you understand it. It is going to operate by its own laws. And so that's why I am quick to say my foundation is on the blood of Jesus Christ and knowing who he is and the power that he moves within me. And that needs to be the same about all that we believe in, because when we go to a high place, that's not compromisable. You got to believe what you believe, and you got to stay in that until you see it manifest, no matter what it looks like, or you really don't believe it. You believe it when it's a good time and not when it's a bad time. You have to believe it at all times, whether it looks like it's going to work out for you or not. And that's being fully persuaded. And so I'm bringing that over to Brandy. Brandy, share with us what are some of the things that you do in order for you to stay focused and where you are. And you're doing some amazing things. You left the U.S. Now you're in Kenya. And so you got that's major. That's a major move. That comes with what? Highs and lows. And you got to still have faith and believe. You got to stay that course no matter what it looks like.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why, I am, well, first of all, hello, everyone. I'm Brandy Sharifa, known to many as BJ, Miss BJ Martin. And it's good to see all of you. I see some faces that are new. Hello, Mambo, that's hi in African and in Swahili, and Tiffany and Jeffrey. Those are my old buds. It's good to see you all, and Teresa as well. I'm here in Kenya. Me and my hubby, we came down here. The universe called us to be here, and when you hear that calling, you gotta go. It's no questions to be asked. You just work it out and you go when it's time for you to move. And it's definitely an adjustment. It's definitely adjustment. It's so different from the US. It's like I can start over. It's like a renewed life. It's a start over. I can relax a little bit. In the US it's kind of stressful. Got to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Here it's I can relax a little bit and really think through, what my next step is, So like Pastor Doreen said, and Tiffany, I'm old school as well. I pen to a paper. I write. I still do my things, to-do lists, I check them off as I go. I'm so old school. And like you said, we have our phones and all that. And I take notes every now and then, but I'm definitely old school things, to-do lists. That's how I keep up with it. And definitely I'm so glad, I'm thankful that like the trials and tribulations that I've been through before I came here created a very solid person, a solid woman. I'm glad that I had to experience certain things, because it's really making me stand on me, because you gotta be, when you move out of the country, you gotta be solid. You gotta really, know what you stand for, know what you believe in, because you meet a lot of different experiences, people, situations. And I've had to be like, nah, I'm not moving. This is me. this is me, and I got to I got to stay focused. That's the thing, staying focused. That's been my biggest thing, staying focused. Don't let anybody distract me, anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I've been called here for a reason. Good thing, I have been working on growing my coaching business. I've met some women here in Africa who have dealt with trauma. It's interesting. It's a different kind of trauma, but trauma is trauma, no matter, where you're from or where you live. And it's like the age range, maybe like 45 to 55, 60. It's amazing. You have women that are, still in that age bracket, still dealing with life's wounding. So that's a beautiful thing. So I know I'm here to serve in that way. Y'all know I'm a mental health advocate. Mental health is number one for me. The mental for me is even a little more important than the physical, but that's just me. So that's important that I can help in that area. Also, I'm getting ready up. Snails and No Shells podcast. We getting back on deck. So I'm getting all my guests lined up. Working on that. Yes. It's been a while. We got to get that show up and running again. I'm pushing the promo videos again, working on that. So, I have some more time to really do some things that I really love. You know what I mean? I'm doing the promo videos, and I am writing a book. Now, I started out with a poetry book, and I put it to the side because I got frustrated with it. And then one day, I don't know if y'all know Tabitha Brown, the vegan. Yeah, Tabitha Brown. She does these little clips, and she's like, and she said something like, I watched it, was one day it came up on the screen and said, finish what you started. So I get signs, and I trust my intuition, and I get signs from the universe, God, of what my next step needs to be. Something, I get, and I pay attention, and I hear, what's not being said. And I'm always looking for signs. So she said, finish what you started. And also that my hubby, he encouraged me too. He's like, you need to finish that book. So I'm like, okay, let me get to it. So yes, I am finishing up a book out. It'll be out shortly. Mm-hmm. So I'm so excited. Like I said, to be able to create, what do you call it? Creating a life that you don't have to vacate from, have to be, vacation from. You have that life where you're vacationing in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the goal for me, is to be able to not have to feel like I have to go somewhere else, to be able to really enjoy my life, and definitely, and also just to be able to serve how I'm supposed to. But yeah.
Planes, trains, and automobiles were designed for us to move around. And so to be able to go to a new place, to live, and to find your space is beautiful. And then to be courageous enough to go and do it. And so I love it. You have your affirmations. I know that you do. Those help us to stay focused as well. Meditating, that silent and quiet space that we need to, drown out the external, and so that we can resonate with what's internal to us. And so it's so important. Poetry. There was a thing that it was just within the last month or two that I was reflecting on. Wow, when I was in high school, writing my brother when he was in the Navy, writing him back and forth. I used to write poetry. And I don't know what it was or when it happened that I stopped doing that. I'm not trying to go back to writing poetry. I love how I write now, what I write to, personal awareness, self-awareness, self-development, self-mastery. I love that. But it did remind me of where my passion came from. And why I'm so deeply passionate, because focusing on things of life, matters of the world. And so you said something that was very, very important, is making those lists and following through, and then being in alignment with your life's assignment. We talked about that in the September issue, because in that lies your fulfillment, Teresa, and you're discovering where it is that you want to live next, and what it is that you really, really want to have in that environment where you move left. That's being in alignment. That's alignment. You're in alignment with what your own expectations are, what your own desires are, your wants and your needs. And sometimes wants look like wants when they're actually needs. And we've made it to the point where pleasure is an option, in that it's a luxury. Pleasure is not a luxury, it's a need. We need to have pleasure, because that's where joy comes in, and it balances it out with fulfillment, because now you feel fulfilled because you've gotten the pleasure, the joy that you want. And I'm going to go somewhere that you're probably going to look at me and say, what is going on with this woman? When you have intercourse, the end is absolute pleasure, is it not? So why would we think in any experience in life that we should not, if we eat something that tastes good, isn't that an ultimate pleasure? You feel joyful and fulfilled. If you have something on your plate that you don't like and you make yourself eat it, that is not pleasurable, right? It is not. So we have to stop thinking that some of the things that we want are pleasure and their wants and not needs. Teresa, you need to be at this point in your life, you need to be where you want to be, not where you need to be. You need to be where you want to be. I want to sit in my beautiful home with a glass of wine out on I want to see some water somewhere, and I want to just tranquila. I want to chill, sip on that wine, and look at all that God has done for me. That is not a pleasure. It's a need. I need to have that. And I am going to be in hot pursuit of that until I get it. And then I could chill. Then I can tranquila, chill out. So Jeffrey, we're going to talk about what you got this honorary. Talk to us about that journey a little bit as it pertains to being in alignment with your life's assignment. And Teresa, you're going to close us out.
Thanks, Marissa. Yeah, so I'm really very, very humbled and honored to receive this honorary doctorate degree from the Universal Institute of Professional Management. And it all started about 5 months ago. My wealth coach and mentor actually referred me to the program, and I went through, just back and forth with my life story and what I've been doing, and the trips that I did down to the rainforest for sustainability, planting trees in the rainforest, bringing me up to today with holistic wellness, financial wellness, so forth and so on. And I actually stood, in my speech saying, I'm still dazed that I'm receiving this and that this is part of my life as I'm entering my 70th year, but big shoes to fill. There's a lot of projects that they're working on. They're going to be taking them to the UN next year, and I will be part of that journey with them. So I'm very, very excited and very, very humbled. So thanks so much. To get to our talk today. So, I mean, the panelists, these ladies have been providing some really great nuggets, and very humbled to be a part of this group, and the journey has been just really amazing. I've learned so much from everybody. We talk about self-care, and without health, we've got really nothing. And that's kind of where I started back in 2018, really understanding the importance of our microbiome, which is the gut, brain, heart axis. And this is something that I really embraced totally because of being, my doctor wanted me putting me onto a sixth medication. And I said, no. And we have one body temple, and we need to learn how to feed that. And over the years, since 2018, I'm really encouraging people to open up and really understand what's going on here in the United States. Our foods are filled with poisons. They're filled with chemicals. They're filled with all kinds of garbage. And this is why we have so much disease in the United States. The same foods that they're producing here are shipped overseas with minus the chemical ingredients that they have, because those chemical ingredients are not allowed in other countries. So why are they doing it here and they're not doing it there? Or why aren't they doing it here is what I should be saying. So that's something I really encourage, because we talk about, BJ Martin talks about the mental health is a primary focus for her. And my motto is mental fitness is the new physical health. And that has been part of my journey since 2018 to today, totally pharmaceutical free. And I truly believe that we have so much stress, anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies because of these foods and because of the pharmaceuticals that are driving people nuts. And it's only going to get worse until people stand up and fight back. And that's one of the things that I'm doing. And I'm very, very excited about Mr. Kennedy getting in and helping with that cause. So that's that part. But then in regards to September part of the Own It magazine is about it's strategy time. So I've kind of migrated over to a holistic approach with a finance first, and as a certified holistic coach with a finance first approach. And what I really contributed to the magazine for the month of September is really protecting your assets. We're in a world where we are in a lot of disruption. We are not being fed the right information, and there's a lot of stuff going back and forth. And I'm encouraging people to be open-minded, to do their own research, do your own deep dives, because people are getting hacked in their accounts. People are having their profiles stolen on social media. And this is getting worse. There are certain organizations that are suppressing freedom of speech on social media. And it's all about being aware, become aware of what's going on. And as I stated in April, in the Dominican Republic, we need to be more informed of the true state of affairs of what's really going on from a medical perspective, from a financial perspective, and even from a governmental perspective. So there are, great tools out there, to help you as an individual, as a mother, a father, or a business owner, to help with your financial security, your intellectual property protection. You got to protect your property, especially if you're on social media. If you're posting all this to social media, you're a candidate for your profile to be shut down and all your information is not available. So you got to back that up. Your own personal security, implementing security measures. Look at your business holistically, then look at your personal life from a holistical perspective, and see what you can do to make some changes that will protect you. And this is where I am teaching about this decentralization, going from centralized to decentralized. Decentralization is taking away the power and the control from our corrupt and broken centralized systems and bringing people over to look at this blockchain technology. It's Web3. There's more protection over there. And there are new programs that are being developed that you own everything that you put out there, and it can't be taken away from you. So those are the things that, I've been learning over the last couple of years in regards to all these changes that are happening under our feet today that are going to change and really impact the world 3 to 5 to 10 years down the road on from a significant perspective, both personal and business wide. So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah. And you said a lot. And I've had that conversations with my sisters as we were watching, some of the information that's coming across in regards to, and then also too, what you said about your profiles being taken. We got into the discussion of folks video recording you without your permission, and we have lullabied ourselves to sleep in regards to being involved in how our legislation is passed. And that's how we got to this point. Most people don't realize that laws are being made every single day. They're being processed. They're being attached to different documents so that they could get passed. And it's very, very challenging because it's not clear cut, right? So if one gets through, then there's the negotiation for this to get through. But we, the people on the local level, we can make that impact and we can make that impression upon our people. Goes back to what Tiffany said in the beginning about accountability, holding our local legislators accountable for how they represent us. If we are not awake, if we don't have a hands-on approach, if we are not, the squeaky wheel gets oiled, right? So if we are not holding them accountable, and we have become a society in the US that is just like we talked about earlier, it was like they're into their things. They're into superficial things. They're into buying this and buying that has no real meaning, that has no real depth to it. And so because of that, it's just like your kids. If you don't spend time with your kids and you just keep giving them devices and you wonder why later on, who are these kids? Well, you didn't pour you into the kids. You poured the world into your kids by giving them things that pacify them. Well, that's what we've allowed as adults. We can't get on the kids, like Pastor was saying. We can't get on the kids if we've not poured into the kids. The kids are going to grow up and do the things that they were taught to do. And if a system through devices is teaching our young people, because we don't want to spend time with them teaching them about Monopoly. We don't want to do Scrabble with them so that they have a broadened vocabulary. If we don't want to give them chores because we feel like they're already overwhelmed. Oh, hell no. They need to have chores so that they are disciplined in knowing how to wash the dishes, keep a clean house, and then they'll value it. They won't throw things around. They won't break this and break that. And then you're finding yourself replacing it. We have a young generation, even a current generation. I can even say of my peers, they lack this level of substance. They lack this level of self-discipline. These are my peers, and my peers are 50, almost 60 years old. Shame on us. Shame on us for the ignorance.
Now, I've also come across articles most recently that by 2030, 80% of people's time will be spent on, devices. 80%.
Yeah, because we rather be controlled.
That's right.
We rather be lazy. We rather be victims, not victors. But that's a conversation, Jeffrey. We're going to come back. We got a whole couple more months and we got a whole year to dive into this very area because like, Lulu and I always refer to the Matrix. People rather be in the daggone cocoons plugged into the system than to be unplugged and see the reality of the truth. But guess what? We're going to dive in there. But I want to give Teresa her due. I want to let Teresa come on. Brandy hit on something that was very, very critical. Know thyself. If you don't know who you are, you will be persuaded in every different direction. You have to be rooted and grounded in whatever you believe, because I'm not trying to tell you to be crazy like me for Jesus. Whatever you believe, you have got to be wholehearted, rooted and grounded in that belief system, because something is going to come and it's going to shake you up. And it's whether or not you are rooted and grounded in what you believe in that's going to keep you standing. Teresa, take it away.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I think what I'm going to say is we've been in quite a few conversations this morning. We've gone many different directions, but I think the bottom line is that it all comes back to you personally. And my article for both magazines, Phoenix Fitness Fanatics and Own It, is about our inner landscape, about us. And I think we forget that because we try to do a lot of things. We make a lot of plans. There's nothing wrong with intentions. There's nothing wrong with anything. But what we forget is what we do on the inside affects everything on the outside. So things like the chaos in the world, we don't have to be a part of it. Reality is what each person believes. And we often don't know what's truth, what's not truth. But in the long run, does that really matter if we feel that we know ourselves and that we could make the best decision for ourselves? And I think that's where we get lost. We get lost there in healthcare. There's nothing wrong with getting your colonoscopies, your mammograms, all those things. Health is important, lab work is important, but what else is important? You know, your body works in harmony. Your body has each cell, fiber, muscle has its own vibration. It's like an orchestra. If one musical instrument is off, it affects the whole orchestra. And it's the same thing with us and our body. If we're off with not knowing ourselves, with how we think, what is our perception of ourselves? What is our belief? Do we believe that we're healthy? Because if you don't believe that you're healthy, you're not going to be healthy. It may take years, but trust me, 30 years in the healthcare profession, I could tell you that an illness will happen. The way we prevent things, things are in our hands, and we really have that power within us. But I think what's lacking is we don't use it. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to make a decision, whether it be about our physical health, our mental health, our financial health. We just don't trust ourselves. And that comes back to us. It comes back to knowing ourselves, of not getting involved with the chaos out there. You know, it's out there. Will it change? I don't know. But at the same time, I don't have to be a part of it. I don't have to get involved with all the political rhetoric that's going on, with the changes in a lot of things, even with healthcare. I could look at what's important for me. And I think that's what we need to do, is stop that chatter on the outside world and concentrate on what's going on within us. And that's our emotions. Are we working with our inner state of peace and calm? By self-forgiveness, self-compassion, by being resilient, going with the flow, and by having the gratitude? Or are we operating out of fear? Because we have two parts to our brain, a lower part, which is survival, the upper part, which is the higher intelligence. The lower part of our brain, unfortunately, is often what we work with, because that's what operates out of chaos and fear. And when we let the outside world totally influence us, I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on out there. That's important. But at the same time, making your own decisions, taking some things with a grain of salt, not being influenced by everything that's happening out there, we move up to the higher intelligence part of our brain that operates out of knowing, out of self-confidence, and helps us to make the decisions that's right for us. So in this whole conversation, what I would like to leave people with is that it's so important to be with yourself, to get to know yourself, to spend time with yourself, not to get caught up with what's going on out there. And sometimes we get so enmeshed into everything else that's going on that we forget what's really important. And what's really important is who we are, not necessarily how much we accomplish in a certain period of time, because sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. And schedules and all that is important. But I think what's most important is sitting back, knowing ourselves, and making decisions that are right for us. Backstage, we talked about the weather, about people moving out of places that are considered high risk now. To me, I want to be where I feel happy and comfortable. Right now, I live in a safe area. We get tornadoes, but other than that, I would like to be closer to the water. So if that means to me, maybe being a little closer to danger, okay, not fearing it, not fearing the chaos that's going on with the weather. And people may disagree, but I firmly believe that the weather is a result of everything else that's going on. When there's chaos, how does the weather respond? It could only do what it has to do to try to change things. And if you look back at some of the really old Sanskrit, Hindu, Buddhist teachings, they do talk about as above, so below. So I think we're influenced by everything that goes on around us. We make a decision based on what we feel comfortable with as individuals, and having the information and having the knowledge about ourselves and using the higher part of our brain with our heart and our feelings and emotions, to get that aligned together. And I think that's the most important alignment, to make the decisions that become best for us. And it's only then when we're aligned internally that we could take that to the outside world, that we could take that to our weight loss efforts, to our jobs, to whatever we have as goals or intentions to do. If we're not aligned with ourselves, we're not going to be able to accomplish that, because we're fighting ourselves. And that inner landscape is so, so important. So I will end with that. To know yourself, get to know yourself, spend time with yourself each day, sit quietly. Who are you? It's a big question to answer. Who are you? And sit with that for a while and find out who you are. Build your confidence. Work with emotions that are positive. Don't dwell on the negative. There's some things you can't do anything about. Surrender that to a power that's higher than yourself. And work on just being the very best person that you could be. Because when you feel that inside, you bring that to whatever you do in the outside world. And I firmly believe if we all calm down internally, I think the weather would calm down. And that's what I'm counting on, everybody working on that. So when I move to the beach, I won't be evacuated. And I'll end with that.
I know that's the truth, Teresa. And that's what this is really all about. It's being in alignment with your life's assignment. Because when you are in alignment with your life's assignment, you know what conversations to have and what conversations to not have. You know what battles to war in, and what's not your battle. That's why that quiet time is critically important. And I say to you, journal your journey, write it down, because it's in the writing down that you process it, that you actually get it out of your spirit and onto the paper, so that you can assess it. And you can address it. You can say, hey, is this really me? But it gets out of your system. And that's what you have to do. Just like we eat anything, we eat our emotions, we eat these experiences, they have to come out. So in that quiet time, in that time of meditation, write it down. I think that Pastor Durain said that earlier. Write the vision and make it plain. What's inside of you is a part of all that you are. And you just do. You need to write that down. And fear comes from not knowing. Is the unknown. And the more that you know about yourself, the lesser that you'll operate in an unnecessary fear. Some fear we do need to have, because fear helps us to protect ourselves, right? But it'll let you not stay in a place of anxiety or questioning your own instincts. The more that you know about yourself, the more that you can trust and rest in who you are, your instincts, trust your intuition, and all of that. Teresa, you close us out very, very well. Really appreciate your closing thoughts. Appreciate all of you guys. We did go to an hour because there's a lot of us in the room. And so when that happens, we got to let it flow, right? Because everybody has to have an opportunity to speak what's on their heart. Teresa, I really love the fact that you tie in emotions. We try to avoid emotions, but the emotions are really the very thing that drive our behavior, then intuition, because it's our emotions that drive our passion. When we tap into our emotions, that's that deep place that triggers a lot of things. It triggers a lot of responses. And so when we embrace our emotions, and not push them away and neglect them, then we come into a better balance of processing information and processing experiences. Love you guys so very much. This is the top of the week. It's Monday. So have an amazing, incredible week. It's your life. Own it. And if we didn't do anything today, we showed you just how to do that. Take care. We're out.